What documentation, if any, do you need to send to the IRS when you're claiming the adoption tax credit?
You do not need to send any documentation in. Everything is electronically filed now. Like I said, with that form 8839, and then it goes to Schedule 3, and then it goes to second page of the 1040. And so what happens is, in the event that the IRS sends you a letter, don't panic. The documentation that you want to keep in an envelope, and just mark it IRS documentation, is you need to keep the final judgment of adoption or decree of adoption, certificate of adoption, whatever whatever that county or state chooses to call it. You will need, if it's foster care, you will need the signed and dated copy of the subsidy agreement. And then for private, domestic, and international, you need to keep a good copy of all of your receipts. For international, I highly recommend you get copies when you come back home, because those thermal receipts often fade. And of course, don't ever send the originals. Don't ever send the originals. Don't ever send the originals. But when you send those things, did I get that? If you have to send that documentation into the IRS, whoever is first on the tax return, in red Sharpie, put their social security number at the top of every single page. That way, in the event, if your tax return and the documentation gets separated, they know whose file that documentation needs to go to. So, like I said, final judgment of adoption, it has to be the signed and dated version. For foster care, you need the signed and dated subsidy agreement. For domestic and for international, you need a copy of your home study or home placement, and then you need a copy of all of your expenses. And keep those in that envelope, and that way you know right where they are in the event that you need it.
And I'll just add a couple of things. For international adoptions, probably need the translation of the adoption order in country. Is that proof of adoption? With receipts, don't stress over the little things. If your agency fees, attorney fees, and all that are getting you way over the amount that you need to document, that little slip for dumplings you got in China, that's like $7 worth, you don't need to find that if that's just going to add to the total but not change the amount that you get. So if you can get there with the big things, focus on those, and then you don't have to sweat the small things.